Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Interact podcast. My name is Josh Haynam. I am the co-founder and CEO at Interact. And today I'm joined by Jessica Walther, who is the co-founder or solo founder. Which one?
We're solo founder. I do have another Rachel. She's my podcast co-host. We work very closely together, but we're just a tiny little team right now.
Nice. Okay, so founder of the Launch Collaborative, builds personalized funnels, mostly for wellness practitioners. So I'm excited to chat with you because I saw one of your posts about a quiz funnel that you'd built on Interact and wanted to pick your brain on that and then just kind of go back and forth on quiz strategy. So thanks for being here. And then I'll cue you up and just kick us off with like how you built that quiz funnel or whichever one is your favorite to talk about.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, I work with the majority of dietitians, basically, and health coaches. And quiz funnels really kind of lend themselves very easily to what they do. They're specifically looking for like root cause diagnosis. Their potential clients want to make sure that they really understand what's wrong with them and then offer insights that they may not have tried before. Like if you've ever been sick and tried to like WebMD yourself, that's kind of what we allow to do. So with this last quiz funnel, the one you saw the post on, was a dietitian named Anna, and she had 3 different programs that she promotes at one time. And I find quiz funnels to be really, really useful when the practitioners have 3 different focuses. So she has one focus on gut, one focused on hormones, and kind of just a general like starter wellness course. So with the quiz, we're able to ask the questions and segment the leads into those like 3 different pathways really easily and deliver like personalized email follow-up and resources where they don't just feel like they're getting like a generic PDF that solves all their problem. They really understand that like Anna gets their like the root cause of their issues and can offer like a pathway to help them, heal or feel better from those.
I like that. I like the simplicity of that. You're literally just saying for clients who have 3 offers, a quiz is a really great way to segment into which offer is most relevant to the customer who's taking that quiz, and then also segment the leads that you can collect with the quiz. The simplicity thing has been huge. Like we just simplified our website and it increased the conversions. I've seen quizzes become just way simpler in the last, I don't know, 12 to 18 months. Are you seeing the same thing across your clients?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the shift towards people wanting to kind of not, I guess, to rest. I think we all came out of 2020 like sprinting, so we're trying to figure out how can we, still get the same results but more optimized. So those quiz funnels that we're building out like really help to serve those dietitians who may not have a lot of time to market their business because they've got a tiny team or they're a solopreneur themselves. The quizzes kind of work as their like little sales assistant in the background while they are seeing all of their clients.
Yeah, I like that concept of it being a little sales assistant, and that's mostly happening on web experiences. Is it also happening through social experiences? Like, where are people putting those quizzes?
Yeah. So I find that, going back to the simplicity piece, I find that these quizzes, instead of them trying to develop like a bunch of different lead magnets and kind of getting confusion on like, what should I be promoting what, we're usually able to position the quiz magnet as like the end all be all of lead magnets. So like there's one path that we're sending all their customers through, and the quiz is kind of doing the heavy work lifting of segmenting them from there. So it's making their creation of content on social media very simple, or if they're going on podcast and talking about it, there's only one lead magnet to drive through. So it's really just about simplifying their marketing ecosystem by using this power tool that kind of just does a lot for them.
Yeah, that makes sense because otherwise you'd have to have like different lead magnets for each
Yeah.
offer, right? So if you
And then
had
you're
3,
managing 80 different funnels and it's hard to see what's converting right. With quiz
right?
funnels, I can kind of, just view one funnel and see where people are falling off and what we need to tweak in order to get some better results.
Yeah, you just have one product because I mean, a lead magnet is a product. It's a
Yeah.
simple product, but it's a product. So you just have one that you ought to optimize instead of having 3 or 10 or 80, like you said.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
might have been
that's
an
a lot
exaggeration, but
easier.
some of my very
No,
creative clients like to create a lot of lead magnets.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I've seen people with the back end system 80, 100 more like different flows coming through. And then it's like you said, it's really hard to tell where the drop off is, where things aren't working, who the customers are, that kind of stuff. Um, do you have a particular type of client or I don't know, setup that they have where you see the quiz ends up working best? I know you said three offers, but is there other attributes that you see where it's like, okay, this client would be a great fit for a quiz, and this client, I don't think I would recommend a quiz. Like, do you know?
Yeah, so I really think it works the best when, like I said, the clients have multiple offers, so we're able to deliver three different experiences. I've also seen it work really good with memberships, though. We have one particular client who has it's like a very large membership, and she uses her quiz to kind of tell people where to start based on where they are in the membership. So that works really good. I think it works really good for anybody that just needs to segment their list so that they can deliver like a more personalized experience. I think if you just have maybe like one offer, then maybe might not be time for a quiz because you don't need that personalization. But if you're have multiple things that you're leading to, it works really really good.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if we kind of bring this back into, layman's speak, if you will, like segment really means like a type of customer, right?
Yeah.
Like a, a problem that you help solve for a type of customer, and those problems are unique and different from each other. Like I help, just to make it really simple, it's like I help one customer with gut health, I help another customer with like muscle soreness, and I
Yeah.
help another customer with like headaches. Like,
Hmm.
is that a good description of what you
Yeah.
mean by like segmenting and offers?
Yeah, so I think that's a great way to segment, especially when you have different offers that cater to those particular issues. But we've also used quiz segmentation on like buyer readiness. So where they add in the buyer like problem awareness journey. So the quiz that I have on my website about building quiz funnels is really trying to identify like what kind of tier of support they would need. So it's kind of all leading towards me helping them build a quiz funnel, but based on their budget and how many leads they have and what their website traffic looks like. Like I want to lead them to the offer that makes the most sense for their business and their budget at that time. So my quiz kind of segments on buyer type versus the particular like problem that they have.
Gotcha. And in that case, it's still different offers, but it's like different levels of the same offer. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So like the one I'm doing like strategy, one I'm doing strategy and I'm going to build it out for you. And then there's like one that's like a super funnel if you have six different offers that you want to lead things to.
Got it. Got it. That's interesting. So those are kind of two different distinct types of quiz funnels. You have one where it's like, okay, I have three very distinct different offers, one, two, three. And then another where it's like I have different levels of the same offer. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one
Ah, that's
sales page I'm sending them to, but it's helping them kind of determine what's the right level for them.
right. And in that case, you're asking things like level of need. It's more of an assessment almost.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Got it. And then the other case where you're figuring out which offer would be helpful, those questions are going to be more like, what do you need help with? And you're trying to move people down a particular path, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time for the dietitians, we're asking symptoms or onset of symptoms or things like that.
Yeah. I'm curious what your process is when you're talking to a client, or maybe you spot a client that you think could use a quiz. Like, what does that initial conversation look like where you're talking to somebody about the possibility of implementing a quiz? Because I know on our end, we get a lot of like questions that run the gambit from like, I don't want to do quizzes because those are silly, to I don't want to do quizzes because they're way too complicated, which is like opposite ends of the spectrum, but you get both objections. Like, what are the things that you're hearing in terms of like why somebody would have apprehension about using a quiz?
I'm not sure about apprehension. I think ROI is kind of a big one.
Mm,
Am I going to get the ROI that the time, the effort, the money that I'm putting into this?
yeah.
And I will say, like, I have seen like tremendous, like, this is why I stopped doing generic funnels and started doing quizzes was because I saw one client jump from 30 leads per month to over 140 leads per month, because
Hmm.
quizzes are naturally tapping into like curiosity. We didn't do anything different. And then on top of that, the people that were showing up on her discovery calls were already like ready to buy. Her conversion went up as well, and we got more leads, which that's typically not the case. Usually if you get more leads, your conversion is going to go down. But because we're able to tap into that curiosity and then also nurture them and make sure they have all the information before we're getting them on a discovery call, they're showing up a lot more ready to buy. But yeah, I think the number one hesitation people is like, this is a lot of work, or this sounds like a big investment. Like, how do I know this is going to pay off? I even have like a little section where I do like quiz math. Like, even if you just get this is like how much money that you could make from your quiz. It really just makes sense, especially for my dietitians that are having like these like $5,000 and $6,000 offers.
Yeah, I like both of those. I mean, sparking people's curiosity as they're going through the quiz, and then also once they've kind of had that experience talking to you in a way through the quiz, then they're more likely to convert on the back end of that. And both of those are data points that we've seen over and over again. A little hard to quantify though, like because it's downstream, it's not necessarily something that you can track within one tracking system or platform. But once you see it like that, you go from 30
Yeah.
to 140,
It
you
was
said?
a 30 to consistently we've been seeing over 150, and we launched their quiz in November of last year.
Yep.
And I just went through and I kind of did a couple of little like upgrades just to see if I could get it to convert even better this month. But we're still seeing like that 150 leads, which is a lot considering like she didn't really change anything she's doing as far as like she's not running ads. That's all organic social or visits to her website.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've heard some version of that story every month for the last 13 years. It's like over and over and over again. It's like, oh, you change it from something that's static to something that's dynamic, or something that's static to something that's personalized, like you're saying. And all of a sudden you just have better conversions. But yeah, it is a bit of a lift. You have to like think through a lot of things. What's your process? And obviously anybody listening can work with you. But what's your process for how you make it a little easier for people if they're wanting to build a quiz?
Yeah, so our quiz packages come with like me. I'm kind of the project manager tech person, and then Rachel, who's my co-host on the my podcast, comes in and helps support as far as email marketing strategy. So
Hmm.
the first call usually kicks out with us. We're just asking a ton of questions about who your ideal customer is, what your offer is. We're really trying to establish the endpoint of where
Hmm.
we want to lead them to so that we can reverse engineer the questions that we need to get them to get to that point. So that's kind of how we start off. And then from there, we're able to, based on like how much how much the offer is, develop like a nurture sequence after that. Sometimes it may need to be longer if it's a higher ticket item. Sometimes it's going to be shorter. So we're really just able to customize that based on like the segments that we've established from learning about the offer and the type of customer that would be right for that offer.
Yeah, I like that you all are connecting the quiz and the email sequence just out of the gate, because that's actually a sticking point for a lot of people in our customer base, where they'll get through the quiz and then there's this realization of like, I got to do the email follow-up sequence, which is, how does that sequence vary? Like, I've seen it kind of all over the place, where if your offers and your products are a little bit more less expensive, maybe it's not as long. And then if you have really high ticket or high cost offers, then that sequence is really long and it's personalized throughout. Like, where do you all kind of typically land, or is it a huge range?
Yeah, so it's definitely dependent on the price of the offer we're selling. So lower ticket offers, sometimes we'll present the offer right out the gate. Higher ticket offers, we'll do a little more nurturing before we present that. Um, and then we're really trying to speak to, I think one of the mistakes that I've seen people make that have come with quizzes that aren't converting to me is that they're kind of just like copy and pasting the emails, but like changing the offers in there and
Hmm.
not like taking advantage of the segmentation information that you have to really tweak the language to make sure that you're calling out like that segment specific pain points and that segment specific goals. So really making sure that like that way each of the emails are customized as well.
How deep into that segmentation are you all going? Are you mainly just going off the quiz results, or are you pulling in answers to specific questions as well?
We're mainly going off of, like I said, most of mine are wellness practitioners. So, like, symptoms can tell us a lot about what their root cause is.
Hmm.
I can't tell me a lot, but my dietitian clients can be like, if you've got this, this, and this, then you probably have an infection or, this is and this inflammation. So, with that information, we're able to tap into like our dietitian's knowledge about that and speak to specific solutions for like that client. So it's kind of a very collaborative process. Is like we first interview. We usually give them like we don't really write the copy, but we'll give them like this is what you should say in each email, and this is where it should come back. They'll sprinkle in like their knowledge and expertise, send it back to us, and we'll just like judge it up and make sure it's set to convert.
Yeah, I mean, that collaboration I think is so key because you're pulling out, a lifetime in a lot of cases information from a dietitian, from a wellness practitioner, and you obviously want to format it properly for like an email sequence or for a quiz, but you really want to capture that essence of like this deep wealth of knowledge that is truly what sets that person apart from a Google or a Chat GPT. Like you can go on there and get the basic stuff, but you're not going to get that level of knowledge. So I like that you're keying in on that of like the focal point, the emphasis is this person's knowledge and expertise that
Yeah.
they've developed over a lifetime.
Yeah, and showing like case studies because that's one thing in Chat GPT. I mean, I guess he could make you a case study, but it would be a fake case
Right.
study. But my clients
Yeah.
can talk about real life clients they've actually helped that have had your his shoes, and now they can help you too.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Like being able to relate it back to another human versus like, oh, I can tell you statistically what's
Hmm.
going to work best. And you're like, well, I don't really care. Like, I want to know somebody that's pretty similar to me, what worked for them, because that might work for me. And I'm guessing that's what ends up happening in a lot of these cases and why the conversion rate is often so high.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Anything that you've seen change in the last, like, I don't know, 12 months, 18 months, like trends that you're seeing in terms of what's working with quizzes? I know we touched on simplicity as one, but anything else that you're noticing?
Yeah, I think more and more people are kind of getting, as the economy is going up and down, people are getting a little more guarded with, what they invest in. So making sure that we're really building that trust and connection from point uh, like from the jump. So what I've had a lot of my clients go back and do is actually on their results pages after the client, answers and they get their, this is your root cause, go back and add in videos of them talking because that's kind of just another connection point and you're able to build a deeper level of trust versus just reading through text. So making sure that we're, honoring them, that they have all of the information they need to prove that like my client is the right person to fix their job. So sometimes that means giving them a little more time and space to convert, like knowing, like I make sure to tell all my quiz clients, like you're not going to convert 100% of people like right off the bat. There's going to probably be like those hair buyers, they're going to convert during the sequence, but then we're always going to have to go back and pick up the tortoises. So that's why it kind of quizzes work really well with like the model that I do is like evergreen, and then we'll go do like a live launch once or twice a year to kind of pick up all of those people that we may have brought into our world but weren't ready to convert right off the jump.
I like that a lot about the quiz funnel because you can present the offer right away, like here's the right solution for you, or here's the right level of assistance for you, and people can purchase right there if they want to. But then you've also got that segmentation, you got the knowledge about the person that opted in, so then you can go back. So is that like twice a year live launch the best strategy for how you're picking up people who sit on that list and they're interested but they don't buy right away?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of like continuous nurture. So most of my clients do send out weekly newsletters that'll have a small call to action to book with them. So some people will trickle in through there, but some people just need like the excitement, the urgency that like a live launch gives that you can't get through an evergreen funnel. So I do find that is very beneficial to being able to make sure that we're kind of going back and like getting everybody that would be the right fit for this offer.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, getting both personas. Like, um, somebody was talking to me about this. How there's just literally different types of people, like different ways that people are motivated, different ways that people like to make their decisions. And there's the folks that want to get the emails for 6 months, and then they're like, all right, I feel good. And there's the other folks where it's like, oh, I want to just do this live. I want the energy of a group, you know. And
Hmm.
that's, you can get both of those. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing all this with us. I feel like this was like a mini masterclass on quiz funnels. And I appreciate you answering all these questions. Where can folks go to see your offerings and your website, or take your quiz to figure out how you can be most helpful to them?
Yeah, so my website is thelaunchcollaborative.com. And then if you backslash quiz dash funnel, that'll bring you to the page that has both our quiz funnel offers and then also the quiz fun that I mentioned on the call today.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Jessica. This was really helpful. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks.